Welcome back everybody. Today we have round 4, the Bahrain Grand Prix. Let's jump right into it. Hamilton's win at the last round at the Chinese Grand Prix sees him into first place in the championship. Raikkonen sits in second, and Rosberg, who's had a bit of poor fortune so far this year, currently sits in third place ahead of Alonso. Mark Webber is the lead Red Bull, with his teammate Vettel all the way down in 8th place. Hülkenberg, the standout driver this season so far, and Perez, in his first season for McLaren, is outperforming his teammate Jenson Button big time. Button is outside the top 10. He's down in, where is he? 14th place, Button, with only 4 points to his name. We have 1 point, courtesy of that result in Australia. My teammate has 0. And in the Constructors' Championship, Marussia sits in 9th place, with Mercedes right now leading the way pretty comfortably ahead of Red Bull and Lotus. There's no rain predicted this weekend, as is Bahrain. It is a desert, so you're not really going to see much rain there. Let's go straight into qualifying. God damn it! Maldonado absolutely destroying my first lap in qualifying. Thank you very much, mate. I swear, in every single game we seem to play, Maldonado is the main enemy. The rest of the lap, though, was actually really strong. I'm slower than Maldonado, of course, by maybe 2 seconds. But across the line we're going to go, for now, it's going to be 4th place. Ahead of Sebastian Vettel, who must have not put in a representative time. I'm 3.7 seconds off Perez. Van der Gaard's gone quicker than me. Everybody's gone quicker now. I'm still ahead of my teammate Bianchi, and this is an improved lap from me. Should put me ahead of Charles Pic and Van der Gaard. Best of the rest. Only a 10th behind De Resta as well. I think that was a really strong lap from me. It was not a strong lap from me. I've fallen behind everybody apart from Grosjean, who must have made a mistake on his lap. So Grosjean sits last. I'm second to last. A 10th and a half behind Bianchi. A couple tenths further back from the Caterham. So we'll go out again with a fresh set of tyres and hopefully get that 19th place. Or 18th place, I suppose. Whoa! Massa, what are you doing? We had a lot of traffic on the outlap. And Massa decides to swerve in front of me. I don't know why he did that. But now we're starting a lap and we've got bloody McLaren behind me. He's going to try and force his way through. Well, I hope I've done enough for this lap. It's going to be very close. I was a few tenths up in the first 2 sectors. Across the line we go. I'm last. I'm last place. I'm not going quicker. It's Rosberg on pole position yet again. Vettel alongside him yet again. I think that's happened already 2 times this season. Lewis Hamilton, the championship leader, in 3rd ahead of Mark Webber. Alonso in 5th. Then it's the 2 Lotus drivers. That's a better showing from Grosjean. He usually starts outside the top 10. Massa in the 2nd Ferrari in 8th place. Then it's Button and Hülkenberg. Perez, De Resta on row 6. Then we have 13th place Daniel Ricciardo ahead of his teammate Verne. Esteban Gutierrez sets off from 15th ahead of Sutil. Maldonado getting the edge over Bottas today. Charles Pic, Van der Gaard, the 2 Caterhams. Then it's Bianchi and Early, separated by essentially nothing. It's 2 1,000ths of a second. But that's the second time in 4 races I'm starting last place. Let's have a look at the race strategy today then. It's a 3-stop, 57-lap race. Of course, there's no rain on the radar. Starting on option tyres to lap 13 for the primes. And it's another set of primes as well. So 2 stints on the primes. And then finishing on the option tyres right at the end for a 13-lap stint. Starting in 22nd place. The objective today is 21st or above. They are really not expecting much from me. But we know we will most likely see a few retirements at least. And maybe some other drama along the way. Let's get into this race. Well, there's only one more thing to do, and that's go racing. The Bahrain Grand Prix is next. I didn't even say it was the 2013 Bahrain Grand Prix, so I can't even follow my catchphrase. There's 3, 4 and 5 lights appear in front of the drivers. We are underway for the Bahrain Grand Prix. It's a decent run down towards turn 1. Van der Gaard looking to challenge. That's Valtteri Bottas, who got a poor start in the Williams. Charles Pic on the outside of Bottas now towards turn 1. I'm going to take it nice and easy here. Is there any carbon fibre flying up in the air? No, everybody's looking after their cars. I think I see Sergio Perez way off the track at turn 1. As I've threaded the needle through a couple of the cars. My teammate Bianchi on my left-hand side. He's going to get boxed in behind Adrian Sutil. As on my inside there for a brief moment was Van der Gaard. Suttil's outbroke himself. That happens every single race. It feels like Adrian Sutil picks up damage somehow, somewhere. And he almost did it again, the German. But I've gained 2 places off the start. Past my teammate, crucially. So Charles Pic really backing up the pack here. And there is damage ahead. I think the Toro Rosso just picked up a bit of damage. That's Daniel Ricciardo. Into the turn 8 hairpin we go for the first time. Sutil back past Charles Pic, the Caterham driver. And we're about to be best of the rest as I've got a run on Pic. I'm on the outside for the turn 10 hairpin. As something must have happened ahead because my FPS just dropped big time. And off the track I go, back onto it. I'm still side by side with Charles Pic. One of us has to get the advantage here down this back straight. And I feel like I'm just edging ahead with better straight line speed. And I take the position. That's a successful lap 1. I feel if I lock in during this first stint, I can stay with these guys. Maybe even get amongst it. You know, make some overtakes. That's the aim at least. We're on lap 2 right now. And I'm sticking really close to Adrian Suttle, who's on the same tyres as me. We've started lap 3. Rosberg leads. He's already got a healthy margin out front. Maybe about 2 or 3 second lead. As Suttle now started to pull away from me. I pray this is not another race like China where absolutely nothing happened. I've got to do something. I've got to, I don't know, improve, go faster, be better. Raikkonen has got past Hamilton, so Raikkonen up inside the top 3 again. The Lotus driver's having a nice season, apart from his retirement with the crash with his teammate in the first round of the season. Since then, he's been very good. What really needs to happen is for the drivers in front to battle, which they are doing. And that's the only way I can get close, otherwise they are going to pull away from me. I'm just not fast enough as Suttle is putting a move on Gutierrez. This might present me with an opportunity if I can get close enough into the next series of corners. Well, I'm closer. That's good. I'm definitely within DRS range and I should actually get DRS between turns 10 and 11. Might be my only chance to make an overtake, so dumping all the curves. DRS wide open and he's pulling away from me in the straight, so that's fantastic. Clearly, I don't have the straight line speed today. The one thing that makes me feel slightly better about my lack of pace compared to the drivers ahead is the fact that I know we're all on the option tyres. So I'm only marginally slower than these guys on the same tyre compound, which is good. And I'm miles quicker than the drivers I'm supposed to be racing, like Charles Pic, Van der Garde and my teammate Bianchi. It's the first lock up into turn 10. That's terrifying as well because I know for a fact we've crashed there in F1 2010, maybe F1 2011 and 2012 as well. I seem to always crash there. After Australia, where we actually scored a point, I was just sort of expecting that to continue. I wasn't expecting me to actually be, you know, P19 simulator. It's happened again. It's happened again. I don't know what's going on. I don't know. Maybe I'm turning and braking at the same time. But each time I do that, I'm losing an extra second to Gutierrez. Well, I stayed on the track that time. It was not a nice corner, but I stayed on the track, so that's an improvement. I suppose heavy tyre wear has an effect as well. I mean, look at the tyres. That's after 8.5 laps. Rosberg, Raikkonen, Webber. And then I think it's Alonso, Vettel, Hamilton or something like that, the top 6. So I don't know what's happened to Vettel. He's fallen outside the podium places. And his teammate Webber has climbed into the podium places. Also Hamilton, who started in the top 3, down in 6th place. He's the championship leader. He might not be after this race. There's Bottas rejoining from the pit lane. He's a whole pit stop ahead of me. It's only been 10 laps. Usually I'm battling with Valtteri Bottas. If you look back to, I think we did a bit of battling in Australia and definitely Malaysia. And I got close to him in China. Today, this is probably the closest I'm going to be. A few seconds behind him. I feel like the kid in the playground who nobody wants to play with because he's a bit weird. So everybody keeps their distance. That's me in this race. Everybody's staying away from me. Man, I just want to have a few battles with some people. Come on. Lap 13, we're boxing this lap. Hulkenberg's just been in and out, and he's ahead of me. I don't think I've actually seen Hulkenberg, apart from when he's lapping me. I've never seen him on the same lap as me, apart from maybe at the start of a race, because he's been so good this season. Of course, that podium in Malaysia, I'll never forget that. That was a historic day in Formula 1. Well, that was one of the stints of all time. Very boring, very boring. Very straightforward, though, apart from a few mistakes into turn 10. And we're in for our first stop. Putting on the prime tyres, we're going to have 2 stints on the primes now. I can't imagine how slow I'm going to be. I'm going to rejoin exactly in the same place as I was before the pit stops. As the driver's behind me boxing as well. So we're out in 19th place. I did say I'd try to make each episode 20 to 25 minutes long. That worked for the first 2 episodes because things actually happened. But when nothing happens, it's... what are you supposed to talk about, honestly? Rosberg, Raikkonen and Webber, the top 3 still. Jean-Eric Vergne's in 5th place, but he's not pit yet. I think he started on the prime tyres, so he's the only driver in the top 10 yet to pit. I think it's because of the fresh tyres, but I'm actually closing into Ricciardo ahead a little bit. Gap was 10 seconds when I came out of the pits, now it's 8.5. As Webber takes the fastest lap away from Rosberg. There's carbon fibre at turn 1. Something's happened, oh my god! That's actual drama! We don't know anything more than there is carbon fibre on the floor. But somebody out there is in trouble. It's just occurred to me, 2013 Bahrain Grand Prix was the final Bahrain Grand Prix that was held in the daytime. As soon as we move on to F1 2014 and subsequent games, this track will be at night. I do not believe it. Nico Rosberg has retired from the race lead. He's become the first retirement of the race. I don't know what's going on. He was lapping, you know, Bianchi, Van der Garde and Peak, so something might have happened there. He's out. So he lost the victory to Webber in round 1, lost the victory to his teammate Hamilton in round 3. Did he retire in round 2? I think he did. And now he's retired in round 4. So it's Raikkonen in the lead now, looking for his second victory of the season. Webber runs his second. He's also looking for his second victory of the season, and Webber right now is the fastest driver out on track. Well, I'm trying my best. It's lap 22 now. Still a distance away from the pit stop phase, of course, for our second set of primes. About 12 seconds behind Gutierrez. Not much is happening. I mean, the only excitement in the race that we've had, apart from lap 1, was Rosberg retiring. I suppose that's as good as it was in China as well. That's the race leader Raikkonen lapping me on lap 23. And where's Webber? Webber was going so quick. There's Webber. So Webber is actually only, what would you say, 3 seconds off the race lead right now. Webber's fastest lap is 5 seconds quicker than my fastest lap. Once again, it shocks me, the difference in pace. Maldonado's boxed, so he's now the driver in front of me. He's already rejoined. He's in turn 1 now. So he's obviously a distance ahead. I'm kind of holding out hope the AI are bad at circuits like Monaco and Singapore. And then maybe I can get a result. Because right now on these, I was going to say traditional circuit. It's not a traditional circuit, but you get what I mean. These types of circuits, I'm nowhere near. I'm obviously clear of the drivers I'm supposed to be near. And I'm miles behind the drivers I want to be near. So I'm sort of just in the middle of nowhere. Lap 28, so for boxing. These tyres held up much better than the options. I know, of course, primes are designed to hold up better than the options. But the pace wasn't actually too bad on them as we boxed from 18th place. And a new set of primes on the car, and we're going to rejoin also in 18th place. Raikkonen, Webber, Alonso, Hamilton, and Jean-Eric Verne is the top 5 right now. Verne, of course, has only stopped once. The other drivers have stopped twice. And just like the first stint, Verne is the only person in the top 10 to have the 1 stop compared to everybody else's 2 stops. Valtteri Bottas right now up in 7th place. How? How has that happened? Bottas has had 2 stops and he's in 7th place. He's on for some points, which will put Williams ahead of Marussia. First lap to dip below the 140s, which I'm happy about. Webber has the lead of the race as well. I don't know how that's happened because Raikkonen, after the pit stops, had about a 7-second gap to Webber. And now Raikkonen has the lead again. So they're switching. They're battling at the front. Must be great to watch. If only the replay system would let us view other cars. I think by the end of this race, I will be 2 laps down on the leaders. But I'll be a lap ahead of all the other back markers. That's sort of the pace difference we've got over them today. Bottas has had his 3rd stop, but he still remains in the points. He's down to 10th place right now. It's a shame because it does mean that Williams most likely will move ahead of Marussia. Which is to be expected, I suppose. I mean, Marussia and Williams aren't really comparable in 2013. But still disappointing, considering we were ahead of them. I suppose we still are until this race concludes. And there goes Vettel, P5. He's a lap ahead of me, of course. I can't believe how poor he is in this game. It might be the AI mod that I'm using. Just makes him worse than he obviously was in real life. Because he went on that 9-race winning streak in real life to end the season. And, of course, dominated the championship. I know some of you were asking for live streams of this series, and I did actually live stream, I think it was the Chinese Grand Prix, on my Twitch channel. But I think the problem is, I end up streaming at random times of the day when I'm available, and I'm not available at the usual 6 PM time like I used to do. So it'll be a live stream at 7 AM, a live stream at midday, a live stream at 5 PM the next, you know, it would be a mixture. I don't want to do that, so I'm just going to stick with the videos. Hamilton's setting some really good laps at the moment. Fastest lap after fastest lap for the British driver. The championship leader, of course. He was 4th place last time I saw. Maybe he's trying to make his way into the top 3. Once again, Mark Webber back into the race lead. He's actually on the prime tyres. Raikkonen on the options. So there is a tyre difference there, and you'd expect Webber to be slower. But maybe at this stage of the stint, he's actually faster than Raikkonen, as proven by the fact he is now in the lead of the race. And there's Perez. He's in 6th place. Once again outperforming his teammate Button. Button did out-qualify Perez. But so far this season, Sergio Perez has done really well. We are towards the end of this stint, but I'm setting faster laps than I ever have done in this race. So the tyres kind of holding in on, should I say. I'm lapping Charles Peak. That was brilliant. Lap 41, and it's taken me 40 laps to put a lap on my rival. Gutierrez in and out of the pits. He's put on the prime tyres. He'll be going to the end of the race now. And he's still quite far ahead of me. So that's a shame. Hamilton into the 133s. That's ridiculously quick. Still, that's 5 seconds quicker than me. And Bianchi's in the pits. So I've put a lap on my teammate. It's not out on track that I've done it. I've done it through the pits. And we should be boxing. I think it's this lap. Or maybe next lap. And there he is. Jean-Eric Vergne in 6th place. He's having himself a great race today. Ended lap 44 in for the final stop. Putting on the option tyres for the final 13 laps. Well, it'll be 11 laps because I'm going to be 2 laps down by the end of this race. There we go then. Fresh options. Maybe I won't be 5 seconds off the fastest lap of the race. So we're going to rejoin in 18th. So after the final stage of pit stops, Webber leads, Raikkonen 2nd, Alonso in 3rd. Then it's Hamilton and Vettel. Bottas is on a 4-stop strategy. He's just been in for the final stop. He's out in 10th place. So if he finishes in 10th, I think Williams will still be behind us on countback. In fact, maybe they won't be. I think they might be ahead of us. I don't know, actually. I have no idea. But he's on fresh tyres, and I imagine he's very close to the drivers in front of him. This is rare footage of early being behind Bianchi on circuit. But it's only because I'm lapping him. He's going to make it difficult for me, though. Around the outside of, I think that's turn 13 or turn 14. I'm being lapped by the driver I almost beat in Malaysia. Either he's got much better or I've got much worse. Bottas in 10th place and looking to score a point here today. Oh, how I'd love to just dive bomb him into turn 1 as well. And this is me falling 2 laps down just before the end of the race. There goes Mark Webber on course to his 2nd victory of the season. Would that take him back into the championship lead, I wonder? That's Raikkonen, closely followed by Alonso. That's a very tight battle for 3rd place. Please pass me. Why is he taking so long? Okay, there we go. It's not Hulkenberg's day, though, today. This will be the first time he's not going to score points in a race this season. He's down in 12th place. Bianchi's got a puncture, apparently, on the final lap of the race. What are the chances he retires? That'll be his 3rd retirement this season, if it happens. Yeah, he's stopped. He's stopped. He's retired from the race. He will do it any second now. Yep, 20 runners left. That's Bianchi retiring. Mark Webber makes it 2 wins from the opening 4 races of the season as we exit the final corner for the final time to finish in a very lowly 18th place, but at least we meet the objective. Webber wins by 6.8 seconds ahead of Kimi Raikkonen, with Fernando Alonso completing the podium for Ferrari. Lewis Hamilton, who was the championship leader, potentially still is the championship leader, finishes in 4th ahead of Vettel. Perez, a brilliant race from him, a good recovery drive. He started 11th, finishes in 6th. And then it's Massa, Grosjean getting points today, Jean-Eric Vergne in the points for Toro Rosso, and Bottas getting a single point for Williams, although it could have been better if they worked the strategy to a key, or to a point, should I say, because he was up in 6th or even 5th place at one point. Button misses out, so does Hulkenberg for the first time this season, not scoring points. Maldonado 13th, and then we have De Resta, Daniel Ricciardo, Adrian Sutil, Esteban Gutierrez, the final driver at a lap down. And then we have the back markers 2, even 3 laps down in the case of Charles Peak. I finished 18th ahead of Guido van der Garde, then the aforementioned Peak, and Jules Bianchi and Nico Rosberg retiring from this race. Hamilton holds on to the championship leader by 2 points, not a single point, 2 points. Mark Webber back up to 2nd place. Raikkonen slips to 3rd, but it's so tight between the top 3, even the top 4, with Fernando Alonso only 11 points off the lead. Rosberg, who's had such bad luck this season, but is somehow still only 25 points off the championship lead. Perez there has climbed up above Hulkenberg now into 7th place. And I believe there's been a few changes down below. Bottas is ahead of me, even though I scored my point before him, but he must have a better second result of the season, so he's ahead of me. I'm down to 18th place. 18 drivers have scored points. I'm still ahead of Pastor Maldonado, at least. In the Constructors' Championship, it's Mercedes leading Red Bull by only 6 points now. The gap has come down big time. Lotus running 3rd ahead of Ferrari. McLaren now just a little bit ahead of Sauber. They were tied going into this race, of course. And Williams do move above Marussia, so we're down to 10th place. And it's the battle between Marussia and Caterham, separated by 1 point, but at least we're leading that battle. Thank you for watching, everybody. If you'd like to watch these videos even earlier, consider becoming a channel member. Like the video if you want to. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed. And I'll see you in round 5. Goodbye.